Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to this match within the Super Metroid Item Randomizer League. We're in week 2 of the tournament right now, and for today's match, we have Iron Rusty representing Team 3 going up against Oswald representing Noobs BR. Now, I'm admittedly not very familiar with Oswald, however, Iron Rusty I know is a very skilled player. He's done quite well in SMRAT. I believe this is the first time he's done Rando League though. So we'll have to see how everything goes. The format for this week is the Dash Randomizer, which stands for Diversity and Selective Haste. Dash is quite similar to the Season Races format from seasons past. However, it does have a few notable changes to the way that Super Metroid itself works. The first and perhaps most notable change is that our runners will start with a nerfed charge beam that does the same amount of damage as the normal beam, however, it can hurt bosses. So that will incentivize them to maybe not check as many minor item locations, maybe not pick up as many missiles. The other major change is that Spazer can actually now be used to access Botswoon as well as Waterway. Those speed blocks have been turned into speed or spazer blocks. And additionally, bombs can be used to access wrecked ship reserve. And it is progressive suits, which means the first suit that you pick up gives you 50% damage reduction. The second suit you pick up brings you up to 75%, and that does mean that gravity gives you half heat damage reduction, meaning that it's possible that we could see some Lower Norfolk Hell runs. And our players have gotten started. They're going to be making their first item check now. And we see an E-Tank. This is a very common start. And certainly not one I would complain about. Having one E-Tank for the beginning of the game is not bad at all. If you end up in a situation where you want to check Gauntlet early on, it can be absolutely great. But even just for doing the Brinstar loop, it's really good. Because you have to access many rooms with some quite challenging enemies. Ooh, and Iron Rusty unfortunately loses a bit of time here. He has to reset the room as he missed the damage boost twice. Alright, and we see super missiles. If we find power bombs, that could make Meme Route a possibility for either player. Meme Route, also known as Green Hill Zone Route, Sonic Route, it has a few different names, and there are those power bombs. I think it's quite viable for Dash, and I think taking Meme Route into Wreck Ship is really good. So we'll have to see if either of these two runners wants to go for it. You are skipping some ammo early game and having a less well-equipped Brinstar overall. And if you find either Speed Booster or Spazer somewhere before you get to Waterway, doing normal route, then Meme Route is bad in that case because you can't check Waterway. So it looks like neither of our runners want to do Meme Route. Understandable, it is a less common route. And with that being said, and with not having 10 power bombs, unless we find something like Screw Attack, I would expect there not to really be any major route divergence, probably up until Red Tower. Okay, and Rusty does check this minor item location. I really like this personally. I'm a bit surprised that Oswald skipped it. Normally, You would expect that if a player checks the minor item location behind Morph, they would check below Mother Brain as well. However, it won't be making too much of a difference time-wise. It does give Oswald a bit of an opportunity to increase his lead. And that space jump is nice. This play is surprising to me from Rusty. I wonder now, I know that Rusty's randomizer experience, I believe, has primarily been with SMRAT as far as competing with randomizers. So it's possible that he's got full randomization on the brain. Either way though, I hope that Rusty doesn't want to go out of his way to check too many extra minor items. Minor items can be nice if they get you to the point where you don't really need to do much. Now this is interesting. So Osvald has decided that he wants to do Brinstar skip. This is a really risky play, but if it pays off, it's huge. Yeah, and we see Rusty going the much more conventional route of just heading down towards Brinstar. Meanwhile, Osvald has to get ready for a pretty underpowered wrecked ship. Yeah, and he checks ocean missiles. Normally I wouldn't like this, but Osvald only had 5 missiles, so it would have been a really annoying Fantoon fight. I like getting the extra missiles here. I mean, no matter what, Osvald is effectively doing new route Fantoon here. This is not going to be easy at all. He does, with that nerf charge, he does have pseudo screw available to him. Ooh, and Rusty finds Spazer. Hopefully he remembers that he can use that to check Waterway. And that is an item that will allow him to access Batoon. You really want to have either Ice or Speed, since that allows you to perform Zeb Skip. Yeah, this is Dash. We are sort of in the tail end of the Dash week at this point. However, we have a lot of matches scheduled for this weekend, so be sure to follow the Speed Gaming family of channels to get notified whenever we have a Super Metroid Randomizer or any other event going on. Oh yeah, I really wish that Oswald would use that nerf charge here. However, he's doing really well. So I certainly can't criticize him if he's actually managing to get these drops. Really well done from him. Hopefully he can close out this fight. Fantoon's hitbox on the initial eye open is really rough. Yeah, I like this from Oswald, just playing it safe. Like, I think with the routing that Oswald is doing, it is so unlikely that a long Fantoon fight is going to be the thing that makes him lose on time. Oh no. Oh. That's really rough. He did save at the ship. So it's not like he has to start from the beginning. Um, but that was probably what, like a 4-minute time loss. Alright, Rusty did a nice job there setting up for that green gate, reverse green gate glitch. It can be a hard trick. Rusty made it a lot easier with that normalized setup. Oh, Oswald has really low health going into wrecked ship. Yes, you can microwave with the nerf charge. It takes 3 times as long. And you do still need plasma and X-ray, of course. Yeah, you can still microwave, you can still pseudo screw for normal damage, and special beam attacks still do the normal amount. Alright, yep, and there Rusty is able to remember that waterway's opened by Spazer. I'm really glad. It's so easy to forget because Dash is the only format like this. Yeah, I think there are definitely times when Golden Shower can be useful. Ooh, I like those bombs. If Rusty doesn't find Speed Booster, he can use those to access Wrecked Ship Reserve. However, bombs are just kind of all-stars. They're really good to get. They'll almost always save you time when you can bomb jump as opposed to power bomb jumping. But yes, Golden Shower strats are certainly useful. If you don't really have a better option available, obviously X Factor's sort of the ideal special beam attack you want to use. However, Golden Shower can be useful for Mother Brain and Ridley if you really know how to do it, but you have to know. Wow, Oswald is just so good at avoiding these enraged flames. Holy crap. Like, he is actually gaining health by enraging Fantoon. You don't often see that. Yeah, Oswald did Bryn Skip. So it's a really risky play, but if it pays off, it could be huge. Unfortunately for Oswald, he took a death to Fantoon the first time around, because it's a hard Fantoon. He's effectively doing New Route Fantoon. And it's even harder because this time he did not pick up... Oh, that's a plasma beam for Rusty. This time he did not pick up that second missile pack. Oh, that's really rough. Yeah, so at this point, yeah, Rusty has Microwave online. I wouldn't consider it a good strategy at this point. It's still very slow on dealing damage. But like if you wanted to use it on Fantoon, for example, you can one-shot Microwave Fantoon with just with just plasma and X-ray and no charge. It's pretty hard though. Yeah, Oswald has given up on his plan, and now he's just going to go down to Brinstar. I understand why he's doing this. It's pretty demoralizing to die twice. I do wish he could commit to that Brinstar skip though, because now he's just put himself um, at least 10 minutes behind, and that's really hard to recover from. If something was really good at Wrecked Ship, and especially with the fact that there wasn't really anything phenomenal in Brinstar, like Oswald could have put himself ahead that way. Yeah, like even if Oswald just like if he got it on this next attempt, he would probably be roughly neck and neck with Rusty. That's true. You can use plasma special beam attack. You can microwave with that. That's a relatively unknown fact. I wouldn't be surprised if our runners don't know about it, because it never comes up basically. Well, Iron Rusty really played it close there with these yapping moths. It's a shame Oswald couldn't have gotten that E-Tank from Gauntlet. That would have helped him out tremendously during his Fantoon fight. I don't think he got it, did he? No, cause he only had the one E-Tank from the beginning of the game. I think maybe he didn't have enough power bombs to get it. Alright, and now on Iron Rusty's screen, we're going to end up seeing what is that wrecked ship? I am kind of curious whether Oswald will want to go up or down Red Tower. Oh, I don't think he got that. Yeah. Like I said, reverse screen gate glitch is really hard if you don't have a normalized setup. And it can still be difficult even if you do. To answer a question in chat, you can have fast item dialogues in Super Metroid. Dash does not specifically. It's a setting that you can do. It's a setting that you can do in Varia if you turn it on. And in multi-world, it's always on, just because of the way it works, where both players would have had to hear all the fanfares. People generally prefer not to have the item fanfares though, just because if you turn off item fanfares, then players don't have to think as hard about what items they do and don't want to pick up. Like if item fanfares are on, then it really encourages players to sort of try and win on as few minor items as they can. Yeah, that's true. It also does make tracking easier. Alright, and Phantoon goes down much more easily for Rusty with that microwave at his disposal. Nicely done. If Oswald goes down here, it's possible for him to still make a really good play. That could potentially put him ahead. He has to farm for at least one super here, though. However, like, Iron Rusty just has a pretty commanding lead at this point, and because of Oswald's attempts at Bryn Skip. Yeah, now here I wonder if Iron Rusty wants to save before checking Spiky Death Room. Yeah, oh yeah, I have nothing but respect for Oswald's play. Like, I honestly do wish he would have stuck with it, because aside from the health situation, if he got it on another, like, if on the next attempt he got it, and I think that's very possible he could have gotten it, then he and Rusty would have been pretty much neck and neck. He didn't really lose anything by skipping Brinstar. Except Spazer, which could come into play if they don't find Speed or Ice. But as it is, Oswald is just sort of making the same checks that Rusty did, but 10 minutes behind. Yeah, well, isn't Plasma at X-Ray here? So, like, even with Bryn Skip, you would still get X-Ray, presumably, so you would get that Plasma. Yeah, Plasma's right here. I think X-Ray was Wavegate, which can be relevant, but that's not, like, X-Ray by itself isn't enough to make Brinstar worth it. You could argue those E-tanks are, as early game survivability is really important. Like, overall, Rusty is just, like, even if Oswald managed to clutch out that Phantoon fight, he would have a quite rough wrecked ship waiting for him. Yeah, and Iron Rusty with that Plasma definitely has options for this room. Nah, thanks, Hero. Yeah, again, I think I do kind of wish that Rusty would maybe not check as many minor item locations, especially now that he has that plasma beam. I think a fair amount of this is just muscle memory from being so used to full randomizer. Like, I don't think that Sky Missiles by itself is necessarily a bad miner to check. But, like, Rusty has 20 super missiles here, he has plasma. 30 is sort of the magic number that you want to hit, the first magic number for super missiles, where you can take down Ridley with 30 supers. So it's possible, like, it's definitely possible we could see a situation where Iron Rusty gets to 30 super missiles, and then that's it, he's done checking minor item locations. With just charged plasma, each shot, or not just charge, with nerfed charge plasma, each shot does 150 damage. So it's a long Ridley if you just have to use beam, and it's a long Mother Brain. However, I do think it is a manageable Mother Brain. Ooh, and Osvul unfortunately didn't get the crate stand up there, or did get the crate stand up, didn't get the crate quick kill. He makes quick work of crate anyway. Yep, by itself, the beam is 120 shots. However, we can. Oh, wow, that Varia suit. Yeah, I mean, we can expect our runners to be able to use some amount of super missiles. Rusty has 20 and Osvul has 10. Yeah, with that Varia suit, if Osvul had managed to pull off the Bryn Star skip, he would have been in a really good spot here. And screw attack is at Kraid. Like, unfortunately, because of Varia being at the end of wrecked ship, just about any advantage Osvul could have sort of melted away there. Because there was definitely a world in which Varia was, let's say, high jump boots, and then Osvul can clear Norfair if he wants, and then maybe go for a lower Norfair if he finds something like high jump boots. I'm not sure if Osvul knows high jumpless lava dive or not. Even if you do know it, it's a very risky play to make because once you've done high jumpless lava dive, you have to do high jumpless lower Norfair. That screw attack does make it easier though. And at this health, I don't think we can expect to see hell runs from Osvul, even if he had more miners than he does. Like I love to see lower Norfair hell runs. I think they're the most fun part of Dash. But you really want to have the right equipment for them. At this point, sort of the only X factor that Osvul has remaining is if Gravity Suit is at a really awkward location, like I believe with Totals, because Dash is built on Totals Randomizer, it might be possible for Gravity to be at Shack Tool. Because I know for the multi-world, Gravity can be at Shack Tool if you have a ton of other items. You need to have high jump boots, ice. Okay, but it can be at Sandpits. Yeah, Sandpits is a pretty miserable location for it to be too. Like, for me personally, if I am doing a suitless Meridia, I like to commit to I like to commit to the suitless Meridia. Like, if Gravity is at Bot's Wound, so be it. But I don't like going out of my way to check Sandpits, and I usually don't even like checking Mama Turtle. Unless I'm at the point where I know that like there's basically nowhere else it can be. However, if you don't feel as comfortable with the suitless Meridia, then Sandpits is absolutely an option that can be really good. Because really, that last part of suitless Meridia, the Dragon fight, is where it really gets rough. Yeah, unfortunately, this is going to be a really slow bubble mountain here for Oswald. Like, with this health, he's basically going to have to farm after every single check. Whereas Iron Rusty can just blast through. Yeah, depending on your method of getting out of Dragon, that can really determine how hard the Dragon fight is. Because if you don't have something like Spring Ball, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to Crystal Flash, have Dragon grab you, escape, and then wind up Shine Spark as Dragon grabs you again. Which, even if that's not mechanically intense on button presses, but it is a lot to expect somebody to know for a relatively unlikely occurrence. Yeah, well that's how you get the flash suit, is by having Dragon grab you during the windup. You get Spike Suit by having Dragon grab you during the Crystal Flash, and then you turn it into a blue suit. You can escape Dragon. Oh, there's Gravity. That's actually really bad for Osval, I think. Like, Iron Rusty will 100% grab that, and at that point, I think there's a fair chance he just go modes. Like, at the very least, there's no way that Rusty will do something like Croc, which I think it's fairly likely that Oswald will do here. Yeah, I think converting to blue suit is like, I think getting Dragon to grab you during windup is way easier than getting grapple jump with a spike suit on. That's my personal opinion. Others might feel differently. Yeah, I mean, for once, yeah, if Oswald skipped that reserve tank, then there's no way he's going for suitless Lower Norfair. And with this health, and especially the super missile count, like, Oswald has 10 super missiles. I would not want to do suitless Lower Norfair under any circumstances here. You could give me literally every major item besides Gravity, or besides Varia, and I would still want to find that Varia. Yeah, nice high five there. Yeah, I do wonder. So, Iron Rusty has his gravity suit now. What does he want to do from here? Because he can beat the game. It's not a fun way to beat the game. He has no way to Zeb skip, and he has pretty low ammo count and a kind of crappy beam. But he can beat the game. Like this is basically equivalent at this point. Like Iron Rusty's beam can be thought of as basically being Wave Beam in the normal game for damage purposes. So if you wouldn't feel comfortable fighting Mother Brain with only Wave Beam here, then you should probably still keep picking up items. Spring Ball at Croc, that's interesting. Unfortunately, it won't really help Oswald out. It can be useful for time save, and you can do some really cool strats with it. But he already has bombs, he already has space jump. Doesn't do a lot for him. Yeah, now for Rusty sort of has to answer the question, okay, do I want to check every minor item location to try and get enough ammo to feel more comfortable beating the game? Or do I want to keep going for some lot, like, every major item that he checks is sort of like a lottery ticket to see whether he finds any beams. Ice Beam and Charge Beam are the most valuable to him at this point. Speed Booster is also really good. If he knows how to speed zap skip, I believe he does. Unfortunately, GT is just an E-tank. But yeah, I don't disagree with the GT check here at all. Yeah, speed is just an all-around great item. It's hard to imagine a circumstance. Oh, and there's Charge Beam. It's hard to imagine a circumstance in which you see speed and you don't pick it up. Like, even if you saw it as your last check before Turian, you still save a ton of time. So that Charge Beam means that really all Rusty can find here is Wave and Ice to bail him out. I don't think that he's going to go down to Croc. I don't actually believe that speed can be at Wreck Chip Reserve even in Dash. I don't think the changes like even though Spazer, like even though Bomb opens up that block, I don't think that's actually part of the logic because I think it just uses Total's logic. Anyway, that speed booster that Iron Rusty did find at Firefleas is really good. Yeah, speaking of speed. I would not be surprised to see him go mode this. I know that he's practiced some low percent ice. So if he feels comfortable enough, I think it's really good to go mode here. However, I really don't hate like if he checks Mama Turtle on the way. However, if Rusty wants to, like if Rusty does Croc, if he does Shack Tool or Plasma, I don't know about that. Yeah, it looks like Oswald was maybe considering Lower Norfair there, and then thought better of it. Or he at least wants to farm up beforehand. Now, for this upcoming Ridley fight, Iron Rusty has options. I believe it's... What is it? So... This is what, going to be 40 shots if he hits every super missile and doesn't use missiles or power bombs? So, yeah, because each super is 600 damage and each charge plasma shot is 150. Yeah, unfortunately, these missiles don't really do a lot here. Like, if Iron Rusty hits every single missile, that's the equivalent of 5 supers. Varia was at Gravity. Like, the vanilla Gravity location at the end of Wrecked Ship. Yeah, like, I mean, missiles are still good here. It's still better than the charge shots. But yeah, ooh. I think at this point, Oswald is just in the really unenviable situation of he made a play early on that didn't work out and it lost him a lot of time. And now he feels like he has to keep on taking riskier and riskier options to try and make up for it. Is Ridley actually dead here? Maybe Iron Rusty was just morphing to avoid damage. Yeah, ideally, Oswald's Ridley will be faster. However, he still has to execute on even if it's half heat damage, it's still a suitless Ridley. Which is still really easy to die. And Iron Rusty makes it through Ridley. And like, even if Oswald's Ridley, or even if Oswald's entire Lower Norfair were a good bit faster than Rusty, if they emerged from Lower Norfair coming out of it at the same time, Oswald is still quite a bit behind, having to do Fantoon. Yeah, it is. Yeah, functionally 14 E-tanks, that is one way to look at it. Oswald also doesn't know where other E-tanks will be. Like, he doesn't know it yet, but he's not gonna get a refill at Fireflies. And he only has one Crystal Flash available to him. So he has to be quite careful. Oh yeah, without grapple, too. This is going to be a tough Lower Norfair. Like, Sueless Lower Norfair is tough no matter what. But grapple is really important. Like, meanwhile, Iron Rusty is just having a relatively easy time with Lower Norfair Escape. Screw Attack is such a good item for this area. It really can't be stated enough. Okay, that super missile, like every super missile that Iron Rusty finds is really good. Because like every super missile pack that he finds, that's 10 charge shots he doesn't have to do. Of course, ideally, so he almost certainly won't get charge beam because it's at Croc. At this point, ice beam would be the absolute best thing for him to find. If Oswald plays this carefully, he won't have to Crystal Flash until he wants to, and he's in pre-Ridley farm room. Yeah, trying to use Charged Plasma there cost him a fair bit of health. I would like him to manually pop his reserves. It shouldn't matter too much, I don't think. I'm not really sure what he's farming for, though. Unless he wants to avoid Crystal Flash completely, which would take quite a long time. Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there, but this is really slow. And like, all you're saving, so you're saving 10 missiles, which is good, because missiles are hard to come by down here. You're saving 10 power bombs, which probably doesn't matter as much. You have 27, you can... Or you're saving 11 power bombs. You still have enough for a Crystal Flash on escape. So really, it's about saving those 10 missiles. And it's a lot of time to save 10 missiles. Yeah, I do like this Aqueduct check from Rusty, though. I think this is good. You're in the same room. It's a pretty quick Shine Spark, and you get two minor item checks. Lucky for him. That was really good, having them both be supers. I wonder, I would imagine that he really wants to pick up any missiles he comes across too. Like, each missile pack is 3 charge shots. So at that point, it's less of a time save. It's still relevant though. Yeah, microwaving Batoon with this beam is rough. Yeah, looks like Batoon's almost dead. Not quite though. Nicely done. Yeah, at this point, I would expect Rusty. He basically just wants to Shine Spark and use supers when he can to take down Dragon. Like, with only this beam, microwaving Dragon's pretty slow. It's not looking so good for Oswald here. Yeah. Shoutouts to him for continuing on this race after taking some very unfortunate deaths. Be sure to go follow him. Be sure to go follow both of these runners. Be sure, if you would be so kind, please follow the comms team as well. I've been Glove on commentary today, and we've had Shala, who was able to step in at the last minute on tracking. Big shoutouts. Oh, right, I don't know what I was saying. I completely forgot. Rusty just has grapple. Man, and I am really fixing to know where these beams are, though. Like, we haven't... Well, what locations have we not seen? We haven't seen Shaktul. We haven't seen Plasma. Is that it? Do we have Ice and Wave at Plasma and Shaktul? Mama Turtle and Left Sandpit, yeah. So Ice and Wave are in Meridia. So I guess Oswald is bailing on Lower Norfair here. Like, he can't just reset to an earlier save or anything. So he's saved down here in Lower Norfair. Like, at this point, I think he realizes that he's lost the race. And he just wants to keep going to find something. Or it's possible that, like, after sort of trying to make himself more well-equipped, he wants to go back into Lower Norfair. Yeah, I suspect he's heading to Wrecked Ship now. Or Meridia. Well, probably Meridia first. So before this is done, we'll probably be able to see where at least one of Ice and Wave are. Meanwhile, Rusty is on his way down to Turian. Guess Oswald is checking minor item locations now. Okay. Yeah, like at this point, if you're Oswald, any super missiles I'm sure are a welcome sight. Yep, and here starts Iron Rusty's long and frustrating Turian. Yeah, that screw attack bonks Metroids. Yep, there's Ice Beam. I'm sure Rusty will be kicking himself afterward for skipping that item location. I think he made the right choice. But man, it hurts to know that Ice is right there and it would have sped up your game considerably. Yeah, it is a pretty interesting quirk of the way that Metroids work. While you are in screw attack, you don't take damage. So Rusty is using that to his advantage. Yeah, with the power bombs as well. I believe that just has to do with the way that, like, screw attack and power bombs are designed. Although by avoiding all of that damage here, he's gonna have a bit of a harder time doing baby skip skip. No, Rusty did not fill up at the ship. It definitely would have saved him time. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what Rusty was doing there. He was just fooling around a little bit. He didn't have a good way to do baby skip. High jumpless baby skip is really tight. And does not save nearly as much time. Alright, and Rusty is taking a save here. I respect it. Like, this is gonna be a long Mother Brain fight. And he doesn't know it, but this is actually one of those instances in which this save is actually really good. Because he could take one death. He could take quite a few deaths and still be ahead at this point. Alright. Welcome everybody who is just joining us from Speed Gaming 3. We're doing a dash seed right now, a dash race between Iron Rusty and Osval. Iron Rusty is finishing up the game right now. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Iron Rusty had to reset there. He could have just refilled though. Like, once you've broken Mother Brain's glass, it stays broken. That's fine though. But yeah, for those who are just joining us from Speed Gaming 3 or from elsewhere, this is a dash seed. Iron Rusty is on his way to a finish that's not going to be super easy. He doesn't have a very good beam, so it's going to be quite a lot of shots on Mother Brain. Unfortunately, Osval has been having a really tough time of it. He tried to go for Bryn Star Skip at first. After 2 deaths to Fantoon, he decided to bail on it. So that set him back about 10 minutes, and likely because of that, he decided to go for a pretty sketchy lower suitless, or well, grav only lower Norfair. Varia is at the vanilla gravity location. So at this point, Iron Rusty has a pretty commanding lead, even with these refills. Oh, and there's Wave Beam. So we now know the locations of every single beam. Alright, and Iron Rusty, he went for one cheeky plasma shield there. The special beam attacks, I think all of them are honestly really hard to use if you're not used to them. Yeah, chargeless plasma's 150. You might be thinking of Ice Wave Spazer is 100. Yeah, plasma shields would be worth going for here if you know how to use them. But like with the way that they expand outwards, it's hard to hit. Yeah, I think Shacktool. Yeah, I think you're right. I think Shacktool is the last location we have not seen. That's really mean. Some days I think I would rather see Varia at Shacktool than High Jump. Well, and Iron Rusty's doing some nice quick thinking there. Yeah, you can definitely tell that Rusty has done this high jumpless fight before. I think he has enough reserves that he could maybe even take 2 catch-ups here. Though it's hard to tell with the way that catch-up works. It's somewhat variable how much damage you take. It's pretty similar to how chain damage is. Yeah, if you only get hit once by catch-up, that's one tank. But as we saw there, Rusty took a bit of a beating. He's still fine though, and he makes it through. Very nicely done. At this point, he just has to do escape. Yeah, I liked that we saw the reverse forgotten highway there from Oswald. Yep, and now, roughly 1 hour after his first attempt, he will be returning here to Fantoon. Thankfully, this will be a much easier Fantoon fight. With his beam, he can finish it in 2 hits or like in 2 cycles. All right, and Rusty is about to start Mother Brain 3. He goes for those lag reduction strats. I honestly think it's easier without high jump boots to land every shot into Mother Brain this way. All right. And Rusty has made it through what is, in my opinion, the hardest part of high jumpless escape. Just those initial jumps in Metroid Room 3. Meanwhile, hopefully soon enough, we will see that gravity suit, or excuse me, that Varia suit from Osvul. However, right now, Iron Rusty has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 106.45. GG. We'll see if we can get him in for an interview. This was very well run on his part. Be sure to take this time to go follow both of our runners. They've put on a great show today, a great race. And I hope that you will support both of them and their teams. Team 3, from which Iron Rusty hails, and Noobs BR for Osville. I hope you will continue to support both of their teams throughout the Rando League. Alright, and Osville has forfeited. Perfectly understandable. So hopefully we can get them in just a moment for a race. Or excuse me, for an interview, for a race interview. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting race. It's unfortunate that it had to go the way it did. I certainly, I really applaud Oswald for taking the plays that he did. He definitely did some gutsy moves. All right, looks like both of our runners are there in setup. And we are joined by Oswald. GG.
GG. Hello.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate seed for you.
Yeah. That Phantom seems. How should I put it? I use it to fight him like that. I used the same strategy in last week in Multiworld. But his RNG wasn't good today.
Mm. Yeah, you did.
And
Yeah, you did a really good
about
job shooting out those flames right until the end.
yeah, I just think about look for some supers. I need 30 to fight Ridley. I need
Yeah.
one Crystal Flash and 20 more. But found nothing all the way.
Mm-hmm. All right, and we're
Where,
joined by Iron Rusty as well. GG.
where
Thanks for the
was
race,
Varia?
Asvel.
GG. Did you find Varia?
It was at the gravity spot. Where was the charge beam?
Croc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw Rusty, but both Ice and Wave were Meridia as well. I believe Ice was Mama Turtle and Wave was Left Sandpit.
I
Yeah.
saw that in the credits. I didn't see charge beam. Oh man, that was a lot of shots. Did somebody do the math on that? I was like, this is a lot of shots on Mother Brain.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like in the ballpark of 80, but that's wrong.
So without any ammo, it's 120.
120. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. that was a good time.
Yeah, it was a rough fight, but you made it through.
Yeah, I thought about refilling at the ship with my ammo to get through all those gates, but then I was like, no, I'll be fine. I'll fight Metroids, and then I realized I don't have ice. I'm not really going to get very many drops from the Metroids, so...
Yeah, that's rough.
Just miscalculated when I was running through there, and then I was like, I'll just reset. I think you need like 40 missiles to do just Mother Brain 1. Yeah, so I didn't have enough. I needed to
36,
reset.
yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So unfortunately, Oswald tried to go for Brinstar skip. He took 2 deaths to Fantoon though, and then decided to just go to Brinstar.
Oh, okay, that's what happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
I respect that.
Two
I
times
don't remember what was in
face.
Brinstar. Yeah, what was there? Spazer?
Yeah, Spazer and X-Ray. I think that was it.
Yeah. The other thing I wasn't sure about was trying to do the Nerf microwave.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept shorting it. I was like, Bot Wound, you just need to die. Eventually, I threw a super at him and he died. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that on Dragon. I'm not going to sit here and have X-Ray held down for 20 rounds or whatever it is. Too slow.
Yeah, I think just plasma microwaving, it's like fine for Fantoon, but Botwoon and Dragon, it's not great.
Oh yeah, I shorted it on Fantoon too. I think I grinded it like 9 times and then I let him go. I'm like, that's probably enough. No.
Yeah, well, GG's to both of you.
Have fun in the future rounds. Osvale, good to meet you.
Yeah. Let's see if we get better RNG this level another time.
I hear ya.
Yep. Yeah, be sure to follow both of our runners. Be sure to follow the Speed Gaming Network of channels. And be sure to follow our Restream team. We've had Shala as our tracker. I've been Glove on commentary. And with that, I think that's going to do it for us. Any last comments on the seed? Anything to say to the chat?
Nope.
All right. Anything from you, Rusty?
I'm happy. Thanks for the race. Thanks for the comms. See everybody next time.
All right. With all that out of the way, we will see you next mission.
All right.